Thunder! 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 Thundercats! Ho!
Welcome, Thundercats fans, to another Thundercats Friday on the Radical Retro Rewind podcast. As always, I am joined by my brother David.
Hello, Thundercat fan. You're in for a real treat. We're going someplace very cold today. Very, very cold.
So yeah, we got another location on Third Earth, David.
Make sure you wear your cape that will provide no protection from the elements. Because I always go to Antarctica and just put on a cape.
Bare legs, arms.
Well, they are cats. Anyway.
So this is episode 113, Lord of the Snows, which aired on September 25th of 1985. We haven't gotten to October. Soon. I want to know what episode was on your birthday, David, on October 18th. I wonder what we'll get, since there's one every day.
I hope it's a really good one. Like, it better be a really, really good one. Like, I was so disappointed. It's like, mumm-ra takes a vacation.
God, there was another slower episode we did a little while ago. Just something really slow and, like, honestly, even like a Mandora episode. Ugh.
Snarf walking around Third Earth.
Complaining.
Complaining to the last unicorn.
Which we saw today, actually, again,
Yeah.
unicorn. Okay, to get into this episode, using the telesonic equipment. That's not the word, oh my god. Here we started off right away. Using equipment inside the cat's lair, the Thundercats track a meteor as it enters the atmosphere of Third Earth. Panthro's examination of it reveals it's made completely of Thundrillium, indicating that it must have been a chunk of Thundera which broke off when the planet exploded, which I was horrified of that. It must be a part of Thundera!
They were pretty excited about well, here's the thing. So, the episode starts off with they're tracking a meteor. You
Snarf
also
and Chitara, right? I forgot to mention that.
You also find out, because it's like a cloud. It almost looks like eyes in this cloud. It's so weird. I kept thinking at first, because I didn't remember the episode from way back when, and I was like, is that mumm-ra in some kind of a cloud thing?
That Man of War cloud again, with the tentacles coming out?
But it turns out that it's a meteorite, which is a piece of Thundera, which is 100% pure Thundrillium. And it's coming through the atmosphere, which is kind of sad, but it also, again, feeds into my thing that Thundera had been pretty close to Third Earth. Like in the same vicinity, like it's the Mars of Earth or whatever kind of a thing. Maybe Thundera was Mars.
A red planet. I think Thundera was red.
You know. What's interesting about this episode, to start off from the beginning, is that the Thundercats are feeling the pinch of the fact that they're running out of fuel. Now,
right.
They're not doing solar. They're not doing wind power, baby. They need to find that Thundrillium.
Well, matter of fact, David, to follow this up, it says in this episode, this is a little trivia from later, but it fits the scene. In this episode, the Thundercats' Thundrillium supplies are low, that they get depleted halfway through the episode. This could be due to Groon draining the fuel source when he invaded Cat's Lair 2 episodes earlier in The Ghost Warrior.
Well, I thought about that too, and I also thought about the fact there's a part, again, we're jumping around. Lion-O goes out as Lord of the Thundercats because he says, I am Lord of the Thundercats. I am responsible for you. I need to go to where they find the meteorite as they're tracking it, Hook Mountain.
Right.
To bring back this meteorite. And I will call you with the Sword of Omens when I get there, basically, when I find the meteor. It's for you to take the Thunder Tank and take it back with. We need this. He's adamant about going alone. He's adamant he is the Lord of the Thundercats and he needs to do this for them. Which is
provide for them,
yes,
in a way.
But there's a part when they're waiting for Lion-O, or they're trying to track him, and all the power goes out, and basically Tiger says, very ominously, but not, the music or anything wasn't ominous, but he basically says, we are basically
sitting ducks, or defenseless.
We're defenseless, or we have nothing. We're defenseless. So Lion-O goes. He's going to Hook Mountain, which he also was told that there are ferocious
snowmen out there.
That are like to fight. Basically, they're brutal. And he's like, well, I still have to go. We need the Thundrillium.
Which I like that they added not only like these Bigfoot-like characters, the Yeti, the Snowmen, because I am such a huge fan of like a Bigfoot character, and I like that even on Third Earth,
there's an abominable snow beast, Rudolph.
There is, and it's on a snowy mountain. It just happened to be a snowy mountain, yeah, as well. But you know what? Before we even get even deeper, stupid Ryan, I should have started it off with the scene with Chitara and Snarf are just in like a candy fruit field, and she takes the peppermint, it looks like a candy cane, out of Snarf's hand, and she's like, those are for burbles, greedy Snarf, or something like that. And they see that cloud that David was talking about, and Chitara's like, we better go find, but she just takes off running. I thought, couldn't she at least picked up Snarf?
I know, I thought about that too. I thought about that too. She's like, I need to go now, bye.
Bye, like,
she's like,
bye, Snarf,
Snarf, this is your intervention as your Weight Watchers agent and specialist and sponsor. I need you to lay off the candy fruit.
And then her mission, she's done with that mission. She's carrying on to the next.
What's her name? Jillian Michaels. Michaels.
Oh, God.
Exercise guru. You will not eat that candy fruit. But
no,
I gotta run, though. Gotta run. Try to catch up.
She must burn off so much calories, Chitara,
I know,
that it's not even funny.
I hate her.
But he loves her. He loves her. So like David said, with their own Dendrillium fuel sources dwindling, the Thundercats try desperately to grab the meteor using the lair's tracking beam, but fail. It ends up crashing into Hook Mountain. Not one to give up easily, Lion-O sets off to retrieve the meteor, with Snarf secretly trailing behind him.
And then Chitara, before he leaves, gives him a cape. She says it'll keep him warm.
Now, was that kind of... This is when I go back to our first episode, when back in the day I always thought Chitara was more of a flirty character. But maybe I'm seeing it now that she is just more maternal. But I swear sometimes when she looks at Lion-O, she wishes she was a man. I don't know, does that sound wrong? But
no,
I mean,
I think you wish you were with Lion-O.
I'm projecting through Chitara.
Yes, Lion-O's sexuality has never been discussed. I mean, he liked the Doom Gaze. He liked Tashi from the Doom Gaze episode.
But was she really that beautiful? Can we really go with his
No,
taste
but
in women?
honestly, I would have been like, Chitara, you hold no secrets from me. I am a gay man. You hold no secrets from me. I don't even want to. I wouldn't touch you to scratch you.
Say, your makeup isn't even on point. She had those big ass lips. No, it's terrible to be like.
I would have said, I wouldn't touch you to scratch you. That was Miss Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. She said that to the Penguin. I wouldn't touch you to scratch you. Anyway, so Chitara gives him a red cape which attaches to his outfit, which is maybe it looks more regal. I guess it made him look more.
Oh, yeah, honestly, but she says it's to protect him from the cold, but like David said earlier, this is not protecting any, I mean, unless it's a magic cape.
She's like,
Harry Potter.
She's like, I put a tracking device in one of the clips.
We're gonna keep an eye out for him either way.
At least take this. It will protect you from the cold.
Thank you, Chitara.
Let him go. Let him think he's Lord of the Thundercats. We all know who's pulling the strings here.
Well, they
Chitara.
all want, honestly, so far, we'll see later on, she's on to something. She's right about a lot of things.
Yeah.
When Snarf comes upon Lion-O, he thinks he's getting tracked, and he's up on this snow mountain, so he's going through the cold, and he says, someone's following me? You know, that inner dialogue. And it turns out to be Snarf. But then all of a sudden, Snarf screams so loud that it causes an avalanche. And he's like, look what you did, Snarf. And he's like, me? You scared me.
You jumped out at me.
They avoid this.
They end up rolling.
No, they don't even avoid.
They end up rolling into like a very cartoonish thing where they're stuck in a snow thing, and they almost fall off the side of a cliff.
Yes, they almost fall off the side of the cliff. So again, dangerous terrain. So while he's initially upset that Snarf follows him, he agrees to let the nursemaid accompany him. The two Thundercats are unaware that they are being spied on by the mutant Jackalman, or when David texted me and then it auto-corrected Jack Quinn. I love when Jack Queen says
when Jacqueline is watching them from afar. Gotta love it.
Damn you, Siri, and autocorrect, and when you want to talk to type the wrong damn thing.
Mumm-ra is always mommy or mama. So Jacqueline or Jackalman, as he's known Monday through Friday, except for the weekends when he does drag. Apparently, when he's Jacqueline, Jackalman goes back to the mutants to say that the Lord of the Thundercats is alone, and of course, being
I tell you,
as they are, they're
so
like,
great.
This must be a trap. This must be a trap.
He's only wearing a cape.
So the funny part
naked.
The funny part of this whole thing is that while the mutants are having this conversation...
Well, before this, you should tell you about how he's walking home. How he was walking down the moat.
Oh, he's walking down the moat and the little critters and... He's like, or trying to attack. He's like, I live here!
Not me! You're supposed to be attacking, but it looked like, what, fishes and...
Like some kind of like...
Tentacle monsters? Some kind of tentacles.
He's like, I live here!
They finally got the moat set up. A few episodes ago, we noticed that they didn't put the moat in yet. That they didn't have the slaves.
They didn't have the HOA approval to put in the moat until recently.
Finally, though, Mumm-ra's gotten back to them, and
he's
they
like,
were
I'm so sorry. I accidentally filed that under verbal buildings.
Declined.
He goes in, tells them, and then the other funny part that Jackalman has a funny moment for me is that Slide is like, we'll take Vultureman, enter Vultureman's now into the character list.
One of my favorite mutants.
We'll take Vultureman's ship, and immediately Jackalman is like, is that safe?
Vultureman will take us in his flying machine. But is it safe? You cowardly, sniveling dog! Stay at home if you cannot face your destiny!
And David, he said it so, like, really, like, honestly, from his heart, like, is that safe? Like, is it safe?
If you and I were like if I told you, oh yeah, a friend of mine wants to take us up who's just learned to fly on like a little plane,
right?
Would you want to go up? You'd be like, is that safe? That's exactly how he did it. It's funny,
but Slide wasn't having it. But then later on, he asked the same thing.
Well, you know.
He might have thought of it. He's like, well, maybe that... Because what does he call him? Like a dog? Stay on the ground, then, dog.
You dingo.
No. Dingo.
I don't know what he calls him, but he doesn't call him Nada. Or Nida.
No, we don't even know what to call her still. The scrawny mutant reports his findings to Slithe back at Castle Plundar, who sees this as an opportunity to kidnap Lion-O. The mutants then board Vultureman's flying machine and zoom off to Hook Mountain. So Slithe does ask Vultureman, who in this episode, David, is voiced by our Snarf, which will later change. So in the first episode in which Vultureman appears along with his flying machine, Bob McFadden, which is the voice of Snarf, provided the voice of the character in his first 4 appearances. And then Earl Hammond, Panthro, takes over the role of Vultureman's from The Sixth Sense until the end of the series. I actually do remember Vultureman's voice being different from what he heard today. He was really like Vulture-like in this episode, like a bird, like screaming.
It kind of reminded me of Schitt's Creek when Catherine O'Hara does the birds or the crows, the movie. You've never.
She does that. She said what she said.
No. So, oh god, this is such a tangent. On Schitt's Creek, basically, she was an actress or whatever. So she gets a part in a horrible B film, and she has to be it's like kind of like a ripoff of The Birds. But she
okay.
So it's just funny. The crows. Or something is going.
And she's being attacked by what?
Like fake birds? No, she turns into like a crow at the end, and she's like black feathers. She's like redemption or something.
That's Vultureman's voice, exactly.
It's totally her. It's so funny as hell. So anyway,
so Jackalman, however, not having significant faith in the vehicle, declares to remain at the castle.
Me too. I would too.
With their Thundrillium supplies used up, the Thundercats sit in darkness inside their powerless cat's lair. Are you surprised that Panthro didn't create little flashlights for them? Or would that everything needs to be powered by the same fuel source?
Everything has to have the cat's insignia on it. So then you have Pan to Lion-O, who's now getting sucked up into a vortex of wind going into a cave, and it's like the same music as Mumm-ra. That
hardcore.
That's like a maelstrom of wind sucking him into a tunnel, and you see Chitara's like, I don't like this or something. I think we should go, and Tiger's like, well, basically I think I don't remember.
He says, but then he believes her, right?
Well, no,
as soon as
like
she says
Panther's
something,
like, you know, should we go? And Tiger's like, well, you should ask Chitara. She's like, I know he's in trouble. I can sense he's in trouble. So they're like, all right, that's enough for me. $20. I'm convinced. Let's go.
That's it. She's like, Chitara says so. We could all have guessed that he was going to be in trouble going on this place by himself up a mountain.
So the mountain, Hook Mountain, I sent this to you too, but it came up as like Shakira instead of Shira.
I thought it was Shakira for a minute. I read that as Shakira.
Thank you, Siri, for correcting everything I say. Siri corrects things that I don't even say to things that are the most extraordinary. I should just do a whole series on what did Siri say that I said? Because it makes no sense. Some of the stuff is, and it's so bizarre. And I'm like, I know I have an accent, a New York accent, and I know that I'm not always articulate, but there's a point when you say something like a tree, and Siri turns it into a cavernous mountain of despair. You know, like, and I'm like
Third Earth. She's
sounds
on.
like Third Earth, and I'm like, where did you come up with? I said a tree, and you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to find that cavernous tree cavern?
Lionel goes towards Hook Mountain. He uses his claw shield to start climbing.
Yes.
I was telling Ryan that because he starts climbing, so he's over Hook Mountain. He's climbing upside down, which is like this episode of She-Ra with the Stone and the Sword episode where she loses her power and she has to climb Sky Dancer.
Yes.
And
yes,
climbs,
or Shakira.
And she climbs up, or Shakira, and she has to climb upside down, and he has to climb upside down. And Snarf is almost like the cowl.
Cowl, yes!
He's like, don't look down, I'll do it for both of us.
But you need Swiftwind to fly you to the top of Sky Dancer Mountain. I'll climb. No one can climb Sky Dancer. Watch me.
Yeah, isn't that exactly he says don't look down to Snarf? He says something like that.
No, Cowl says something like, don't worry if you fall, I'll keep you company all the way down.
All the way down, yes. Oh, Cowl.
And she gives him, you know, that She-Ra resting bitch face, like...
Adora does have that resting bitch face, and she was particularly nasty in that episode, honestly. That's
the nastiest climb a mountain! God, anyway.
I am She-Ra! I am a princess where I come from.
And I'm a queen where I live.
So with their Dundrillium supplies used up, the Thundercats sit in darkness. Okay, yes, so the cats board the Thunder Tank and speed off to Hook Mountain. After the ascent, including overcoming an avalanche, blizzards, and peaks, Lion-O and Snarf eventually make it to the top of Hook Mountain, where Snarf is like, we conquered Snarf Hook Mountain! We did it! Conquered it!
Lion-O says something to the effect of, I think it's actually going to be harder. This is going to be the hard part of the journey, seeing this big ice tower castle.
Which he says Snarf says is beautiful.
Well, it is.
On top of Hook Mountain, where they stare in awe at a magnificent ice castle of the Snowmen. As they approach it, the drawbridge lowers and the Snowman steps out with the fierce Snowmeow, which is his cat, carrying an ice lance and a shield. The Snowman scoffs at Lion-O's friendship offer and denies him the meteor, instead challenging him to combat, which is a recurring theme going, I feel like. This happens with Hachiman, I feel like, in the future.
We also, the voice sounds like...
honor.
So Lion-O presents himself, you know, there's a meteorite that landed on your mountain. He like laughs at him and he says,
what did you come to trade, Lion-O? It was like that, yeah.
He sounds like he's trying to do a fake Japanese accent at this point. So basically Lion-O says he can offer him friendship, loyalty, whatever, the code of Thundera.
And the code of Thundera.
You know, and he's like, well, that ain't gonna happen. We have to like fight to the death, so to speak. Like he says, mortal
or at least duel to
show
show off that like it must be earned. It can't just be. Maybe he figures like, well, what the hell is this guy gonna do in the cape?
So
you gotta show me.
And again, he makes fun of him and calls him a boy. Okay, so looking at Lion-O,
how does everyone know?
How do you know his age? I don't know. I wouldn't be able to judge. If I look at an elephant, am I going to tell you that it's an old elephant or a young elephant? I mean, it might be small, or I might say it's a baby elephant, but a full-grown elephant, I don't know if it's lived. If I see a turtle that's a 200-year-old turtle, do I say, look at that little shrimp of a turtle that's, you know, so young? Like, I wouldn't know the difference. So how the heck does they always call him a...
He's wearing the scarlet letter of shame.
He's so young.
Because they don't... 16. You're right, they always make up... It would make sense if they all knew that he was the lord of something, like he was supposed to be a king. I could see him being like a younger looking king. But yeah, this is just that every character knows that he's a boy cub.
Yeah, it's like, I don't get it.
I would look at him and I'd least think he's 18.
He
18,
was only
20.
16. I don't know.
But you're right.
So they fight. The one thing that stuck out for me is that Snarf keeps telling him to call the other Thundercats, and Lion is saying, I have to earn this. He's not going to respect me if I don't do this. The guy is insulting. He's kind of nasty. He has like I don't know what you want to call him, like a walrus dog face kind of a
Yeah,
thing.
he's got hair. I guess he's supposed to be ape-like, but
I don't know what his I don't know what his type is, but that's what
he's not a monkeyan. He's not a monkey like that monkey type from Willa. Snow Meow he has is a saber-tooth, right? It's a bluish saber-tooth cat is his companion that he rides on, almost like a la a battle cat.
Yeah, so exactly what I was thinking. So the one thing that struck me is, okay, so he didn't call for the Thundercats, even though Snarf kept telling him. Jaga does appear very quickly.
Oh, this is my favorite part.
Oh no, maybe you should? Is he basically telling he
David,
should?
he says, perhaps you've overstepped this time. Because he's like, he's gonna do it himself. Jaga's like, no. And then he says, he looks at the cat and goes, think, Lion-O.
Snow Meow! So they're fighting. What the other thing that struck me is that Lion-O never extended the Sword of Omens. It's always like a dagger thing. I would have at least done a one hoe and made it a little bit bigger.
You wanted to get at least a little higher up.
Because it's so small. The guy has a club and stuff. Or then he turned into then he ripped off a piece of ice, the snowman, and turns it into a mace with spikes on it, so I would have extended the Sword of Omens.
This says, as the two clash, Lion-O finds it difficult to hold his own against the stronger and more experienced opponent, yet he does not give up. At that moment, Jaga appears to prompt Lion-O that Snow Meow is in fact a cat, and Lion-O then commands the big cat to halt and stops whilst in the middle of a charge. The cat then starts running towards the bottomless chasm. Before Snow Meow can reach the edge of the chasm, Lion-O orders it to stop again, but the action of stopping suddenly inadvertently ends up throwing the snowman into a ledge deep into the chasm, which Snarf is very thrilled about.
Snarf is like, just leave him, basically. He doesn't say that, but he's just like, alright, we're done here. And Lion-O's like, I didn't come to kill him, I came to become his friend. Now I gotta go get him. And Snarf is like, are you sure about that? You know, basically.
Because at first he calls down to him, Snowman, and you don't hear anything. And Snarf's like, let's go. Lion.
It's over. Just get the Thundrillium and get out of here. So he basically goes down. Snarf is left with Snow Meow. Snarf still is very leery of Snow Meow. Snarf is still very leery of Snow Meow.
I mean, he is ferocious looking. And prior to this, he was kind of like gritting his, like baring his teeth at him.
Snarf is like a snack compared to him.
Well, you know, he is a snack for some pirates.
No, you're a snack.
Lion-O then descends down the chasm by anchoring a line from his claw shield to the Sword of Omens in order to save the Snowman, who was injured in the fall, I would imagine. Without warning, the mutants make an appearance and try to yank the Sword of Omens, hoping to trap Lion-O in the chasm forever. However, Snow Meow attacks the flying machine, forcing the mutants to release the sword. As soon as Lion-O makes it to the top with the Snowman, Vultureman showers him with a barrage of gunfire. Avoiding the fire, Lion-O summons his friends, and within moments, they reach the battle zone in the Thunder Tank. A few laser shots from the tank sends the mutants packing. So was it Lion-O did say, like, how did you get here so fast?
Yeah, the funny thing is, he's like, you should ask Chitara. She's like, I had a feeling, wink, wink, you know.
That was the longest wink she's ever did. It almost looked like her eye just froze there. Lion-O, come to me.
I want to say that Snarf was also throwing ice and snow at them as well. Snarf, I don't care what anybody says. Snarf, everyone like says Snarf is like, sure, they're like the...
Or useless, but he's not really useless at all.
He's not, and he will fight. He loves Lion-O. It's like, it's more of a, it's not just a obligation, it's a love. And
yes,
he will do anything, including
he's like a father.
Walk through snow. Walk through snow, and like, which is probably taller than he is, to try to get Lion-O. To make
That's
sure he's
one.
safe.
I think that was beautiful. There,
I really you see this theme throughout, which is also again why it's endearing to us. I think because of that fact. You know what's really funny too is the Vultureman ship like almost like flops its wings too. Like sometimes.
Yes,
like,
it looks like he made a giant bird literally to fly in. It's like a giant bird.
I don't fly, but I could have.
Vultureman gives you wings.
Yeah, Vultureman gives you wings. So Snow Meow does scratch at it, and he damages the ship. And then when Lion-O calls the Thundercats, the Eye of Thundera projects the Batman signal, and it actually hits the ship.
Yes, it does. Grateful for Lion-O saving his life, the Snowman accepts his friendship as well as allowing Lion-O to take the meteor. With the meteor loaded into the tank, the cats say goodbye to Snowman and Snow Meow and head home. But Lion-O does add that he will always have the protection or the help of the Thundercats.
If you ever need us, call on the Thundercats and we'll be there to help you to fight common enemies or whatever kind of a thing. So it's an alliance.
It's an alliance. We got what? The Burbles, the Warrior Maidens, and now the Snowmen, plural, but we only ever see one Snowman. I think he's alone in there, honestly.
I think so too, but you know what happens.
He's a dying species, endangered species.
And then you have so now they've become friends with the unicorns, keepers, and
oh, David, which did you notice? At the start of the episode, we got when the meteor was falling down, we saw the living ooze back again.
It was like, trying to swat
oh God! Like he's recovered from the soap, evidently.
Yes.
We see the unicorns, and then we see a burble. And I did note that the burble didn't even have the burble voice put in. It was kind of like they must have forgot it. The burble just falls down.
And then you see it go past the cat's lair.
And the cat, so yeah. So we see it. So maybe David's right. Everything is central to Cat's lair. Everything's just around.
Maybe that's what Mumm-ra's really upset about.
It all could have been settled if they just would have developed a little further out. That's all it took. Mumm-ra doesn't want anyone on his land. So, a few more trivia facts about this episode. Oh, what I just said. This episode features cameos by the Burbles, the Warrior Maidens, including Willa, the Living Ooze, and unicorns. None of them have a speaking role or are only briefly shown when the meteor flies above them, crashing. When warning Lion-O about the natives of Hook Mountain, Tiger refers to them as snowmen in plural, suggesting that they are a race of beings. But strangely, only one member of the race of snowmen only appears in this and future episodes. Well, look at me, I'm so smart coming up with these things. But thank you to the ThunderCats Wikipedia as well. Before Lion-O departs the Hook Mountain, Chitara places a red cloak over his shoulders. Lion-O would be depicted wearing the same cloak during the coronation in the future episode Lion-O's Anointment Final Day, the Trial of Evil, which, David, is a whole other thing we have to decide for the future. And I don't know if any other Thundercats fans
Is it 4 episodes?
Actually, 4 or 5, but the problem is either we could do them in order as 1 day, 2 days in order, or in the running order, they have this spread out, the trial, like 1 trial, then 4 episodes, another trial, and 4 episodes. Sometimes in airings, though, like back in the day, Cartoon Network would put them in order. So that's one thing. I wonder if we should do them in continuity order or episode order. Tell us, because that's going to be a predicament, although we're not anywhere near that. But remember this, and that cape.
Remember, 10-year span, job secure.
You're getting 10 years of Thundercats.
2 episodes a month. If you're lucky, a 3rd one.
We possibly will. Voltreman and his flying machine's unexpected appearance in this episode is rather mysterious and never explained. And the moat around Castle Plunder is shown to be inhabited by fish and octopus-like creatures for the first time.
I live here!
That was Jacqueline.
I'm allowed to park my car here!
Poor Jacqueline. What are we saying about the Lord of the Snows?
No, I liked it. He does appear again, and Snow Meow does appear again at some point. I remember that.
Yes, he does.
Can't say when. It's just another ally.
Allies.
I like the fact that they're quickly winning over people in Third Earth. You know, when
their love shows.
You know, they're quickly winning over the people or the other creatures, races, whatever, of Third Earth. And I think that speaks to who they are. And I think that you're better to have friends than enemies. I know that a lot of them are not powerful, but I can tell you if, God forbid, something happened to one of the Thundercats, the Burbles would grab them on a stretcher and take them to the Burble.
Yes, they would. You're right. They totally would.
Or the Wolos or whoever would do whatever, or send somebody to tell the other Thundercats to come help, whatever. They would.
Those Wolos.
So, truthfully, I think it's a great thing. I think it just speaks to their character, and they're basically, maybe this is what Mumm-ra is foreseeing and why he's so angry. Because within the fact that they feel safe, people, the lesser powerful creatures feel safer knowing the Thundercats are around.
Right.
It kind of takes away his grip of terror.
That is true.
Over Third Earth, because they know the Thundercats are going to help them, and they know that, and they've proven that they can defeat the mighty Mumm-ra.
Mumm-ra. Yes, exactly, for saying
so,
that.
I mean, to me, that's it's great to have friends. So I guess I would not be wielding the Sword of Omens, because at any chance that I got, I would have offed Jackalman. I would have offed them. There would have only been Mumm-ra left, and I would have found a way to get rid of him too. Blow up that pyramid. If it takes me
all year.
Blow up that pyramid. I don't know. Throw acid on him. Do like a Freddy Krueger thing where you bury his ashes and body in a sacred ground.
Maybe if they would have chained his sarcophagus a la Barnabas Collins in Dark Shadows and then thrown him down like a pit. Ever think of that?
I want to know what would happen if they stopped him from getting back to the pyramid when he loses his power.
Honestly, would he turn into a pile of dust?
But then again, that dust would probably swirl around and make its way back to. They'd have to have a Hoover right there. They'd have to have Panthro's new device.
And Tiger probably to cleaning. He didn't clean today?
HEPA filter.
Tiger, suck that up. So, we got Snowman, which is one of the Thundercats' strongest allies and good friends. He is a fierce warrior. He lives in the castle of Snowmen at the top of the icy Hook Mountain. His sole companion and steed is his trusty big cat, Snowmeow. Thank you again for listening to another Thundercats review. You can reach David at Universal Appeal 2020 or Warrior Maiden
or Snowmeow
2020. One word on Instagram.com. God.
You can reach me at I live here.
But I live here. God. So, and you can also reach the Radical Retro Rewind podcast, all one word, on Instagram. We will be back with more kitty cat delights next time
on the Thundercats podcast. Please subscribe. I need to shop at Bed Bath & Beyond one day.
Please subscribe, like, and comment so David can enter Bed Bath & Beyond.
I need to buy candy fruit trees for my new backyard.
Yeah, I get a new candy fruit. Remember, each like, subscribe brings David one closer to Bed Bath & Beyond shopping.
Bless you. We speak your name.
So that was it.
Thunder! Thunder!